Oh, hey guys, Dave here again, and welcome back to Right Side of 50. This is a bit of an unplanned episode, but I think it's kind of interesting because a couple of days ago, while I was training Jiu Jitsu, I injured my knee. If you really want to know the details about it, I left a link somewhere here or in the description on my other channel that is more Jiu Jitsu centric about what exactly happened, just in case you want to know. But long story short, how I got injured and what got injured is relatively irrelevant. It's more of the fact that I twisted my knee, right? So that affected how I walk and essentially whatever it is your knee does. And which brought me to the realization of the inconvenience aspect of having mobility issues. Why I brought it up from this channel's context, not a sports context, is that we might actually need to think about that issue about mobility and access and convenience and quality of life as we get older because just even though like upper body and I would say like 95% of my body is fine, just because my LCL got hurt brought up a lot of inconveniences that I realized that if I get older, probably like 15, 20 years after, if I'm lucky enough to last that long or whatever, right? As we get older, the issue about planning for safety and just the general mobility aspect of our home and our day-to-day life might not be something we have thought about. So, for example, the simple fact that I had a knee issue that was less of an issue about bending, it's more about twisting. Turning the corners around my house all of a sudden became a little bit of a chore. For example, if I sit on the floor, standing up and turning 90 degrees to the left to go past our dining table, for example, was challenging. I needed to like go straight up, move forward, go vertical, make a 90-degree turn, and then turn, giving those kind of step by step directions rather than just going diagonally. That was a bit interesting. Doing little things like going to the kitchen and bending over to get a pan to cook, opening the fridge and making a 180-degree turn to pour a glass of drink because the countertop is behind me. All of those things suddenly became a bit of an annoying sequence of intentional event. And then when I went out to go to the doctor just to get it checked, just the fact that you're walking like 50, 70% slower is so different that you have to, an extra 50 meters, 100 meters seems like such a big deal. Things that I never really paid attention to. Walking just one flight of stairs became a bit of a chore, and that's where you appreciate all the little things that are designed for handicap and mobility and access come into play. Walking up a ramp is so much more comfortable than walking up the stairs, but it takes like twice the amount of effort and time to get there. So little things like that, I just want to point it out that if you are around this age and you are planning to move to another place to downsize or you're just going to renovate your house and things like that, maybe plan for aging mobility in mind. Like we're lucky enough that we this flat that we're living in is built I think 2015 or something like that. So the government pretty much redesigned everything so that it is more elderly friendly, aging friendly, such as like the front door can fit those emergency ambulance type of beds easily, and naturally wheelchairs are a lot easier to get in and out. All the doors no longer have like a step in and out into the kitchen, into the bathroom, and the doors are so wide that you can enter with a wheelchair and turn without that much of an issue. I think that's just something that you should plan for as you get older. If you live in a place where you're still living in a multi-story house, for example, I can guarantee you that every single step that you have to deal with will be an issue. So just kind of think about that if you are actually budgeting for a rent. But if you're like us who lives in an apartment and things like that, look around and maybe you have things that are not that mobility friendly. For example, is your kitchen counter a bit too high? Do you put a lot of things that require you to bend over and crouch, or do you have a lot of things that are on top that you need to stand on the stool to get and things like that? Just think about it and maybe change your cabinetry so that not only it might not be necessary to be wheelchair friendly, but at least it doesn't require you to tiptoe or bend past a certain way to access things. That's just what I realized with an injury. Obviously, you probably will still have stuff that will be stored way high, such as like storage, but those are not things that you're going to access daily. But things that you will require constant access to, such as kitchen stuff, your wardrobe, your bathroom stuff. Just think about it. Keep it everything like within like your waistline to your chest area as much as possible, and plan for things like ramps and even cleaning stuff, right? If you know that as you get older and you're not going to have access to helpers or just people around you that can help up with cleaning, and maybe make sure you don't have shelves and open shelves and those kind of things. It might look pretty on photos, but trust me, they're a pain in the ass. So that's all I have for today. Again, don't worry about my injury thing. I'm healing just fine. I should be fine in 3 to 4 weeks. And that's all I have to say for this episode. Dave from Outside of 50 again. Please like, comment, subscribe. And if you have done any renovation or house improvements, preparation for mobility and aging, please let me know in the comments so I can pick some ideas up for you. All right. Have a great day. Bye.